This is Smart Marketing Agency, and we have today with us April, our social media manager, and John, our client rep. I think I got all the titles right because we're still working on those. Today is not as an exciting topic as it was last time, but it is a very important in SEO. I do have a newsletter on LinkedIn. Please check it out for all the screenshots and links of what I'm going to talk about today. You can find it on my page. It's Annie Smarty on LinkedIn. You can scan through that newsletter. Please subscribe. I do publish it Tuesday, so you can be updated on the SEO and marketing and AI trends, new tools, new tactics. I try to make it very up to date with everything that's going on, Google updates, AI tools, all of that. And today's topic is search intent. And I think that's one of those topics that is has changed a lot throughout the years. SEO has been changing a lot. If you don't count the fundamentals, things like create people for content and create great content and get great links, those three things did not change. But many other areas in SEO has been changing a lot, and keyword research and keyword optimization are two of those areas that has changed in many ways from what we knew when we started. So when search engines began, it was all about keyword matching. So there is the web page and there is the search query. The web page is in the index of Google. Anytime people type anything in the search box, Google would just match that query to the keyword on web documents in their index. That was 20 years ago. That was very powerful tactic to optimize. All you needed is to have a page that would have that keyword in the title throughout the page. There was keyword density, all that fun, and it's no longer working that way. So Google has changed the way it treats search queries. Now it uses semantic analysis, machine learning, AI to better understand, and their own click-through data that they collect, analyze, and adjust the algorithm based on those insights. And what has changed now is that Google treats every query in the context. And that's where search intent is coming from. They want to know exactly what people are looking for, what problems they're trying to solve, and what they're trying to accomplish. And that is not just based on their own behavior, so there's a personalized search, but there's always also all the data that they have collected throughout the years for every popular query that they know that they have been tracking, analyzing. They know exactly what people interact with, which pages they stayed on, which ones they went back to search to, and what exactly they need every time they search. And we don't have data like that. All we know is like, there's a query, I think people are trying to accomplish this. And many SEO agencies and in-house SEOs, they rely on that data, basically, what they think people are trying to accomplish when searching. But it doesn't look that way. And in my newsletter, I told a little story on how I thought the query would be perceived and how actually diverse it could be in terms of searching for it. Many people treated it differently, and the Google search results were serving me not exactly what I was looking for. And that's part of every optimization process, is to try and reverse engineer what Google thinks about each search query. So it could be informational, but it could be informational in so many different ways. Some people need a quick answer. Some people need a tool. Some people need a solution. Some people need to buy something. But you never know until you search Google, because Google knows exactly what their searchers need at this point. After 20 years of collecting data, they know exactly what they need, and we need to learn from that. I also do have a few ideas on how to use AI platforms to get even more insights into what AI could think about each search query. We do have custom GPT that analyzes every search query and comes back with who can be searching for that, what are the buyer personas behind those queries, and which problems they're trying to solve by searching that. So that is an additional insight to every search query that you are trying to optimize for. There are also impossible search engine SERPs where you can never get on top of 5, for example, search results. And that is also something to keep in mind when you're considering any keyword as part of your optimization strategy. Sometimes all you see on top of search results are biggest players like Wikipedia, of course now Reddit, official sites behind those brands if the Google thinks there is an entity search behind a search query. And sometimes you just don't need to bother to optimize for that query because there is no way you can rank. So there are all kinds of things to think about when you create your keyword list. And the biggest thing here is that you need to search for each of them. You need to actually look through search results, and there are always lots of clues to get out of any search engine result page, because sometimes Google will show, hi, this is all about this brand. That's a navigational query. Throughout the years, we have realized that's what people need. So we show all the results that about that brand. Or sometimes you will see local results, and that they will dominate search results for a particular keyword. And now you know that people searching for that are actually going to go somewhere and buy something there. So if you're not a local business, you may not be solving that problem. So there are lots of clues to get out of the search result pages and adjust your optimization strategy based on that. We know that with if Google goes public with search generative experience, the most important task there is to prioritize your keywords. So make it new thing in your SEO strategy. Every keyword, you need to know exactly what your chances are to get there. If your business is solving that particular problem, if the answers are no, you will not rank in top of 5 results, and no, your business is not exactly the same that Google is serving, is not solving that problem at all. You just put that keyword aside and prioritize your keyword list based on that, so you don't waste your time on something that is not going to deliver results. So this is a quick introduction. Actually, it took me about 10 minutes, almost half of our time here with us. But that's a quick introduction. Again, check out the newsletter on my LinkedIn, and we'll discuss more questions throughout these 30 minutes. If you have any, please ask them on our LinkedIn. So I'm going back. I know I'm in the keyword world for many years. John is pretty much the same. April is a little bit newer because she's focusing on social media and not so much on keywords and SEO. So I would love your insight into what tools could be used to refine your keyword strategy, what your thoughts are. Have Google been delivering great results that were solving your problems so far? How good search results are, because there are many complaints about that. So any questions that you have, also ask them as well. John, let's start with you because you are more familiar with the topic, and then April will chime in as well.
I have been doing keyword research for about 7 or 8 years now, and I still use the tried and true method that I started with. I start with SEMrush. I just download a lot of keywords. I then take it over to a spreadsheet and manually use different formulas to narrow down what keywords are my priority to work on. Now, I'm sure there are better methods out there. This is a very labor-intensive method, but it has provided great results in creating new content and optimizing existing content, updating content on the website in general. And it has been working for me, but I'm always willing to hear more about what's the next best thing, because I'm still laboring away for a few hours, a few days, depending on the website, through many, many spreadsheets and many, many formulas to narrow it down.
I mean, I'm the same way. I don't have a shortcut to keyword research. If anything, it has gotten much more difficult and challenging these days because now we have to search for all those keywords. We also need to cluster them based on how closely they are related and how closely the problems behind those search queries are, so that we could have one page per that group of keywords. I also look at questions all the time, and those questions you can find in SEMrush, and you can also find them from Google search results when people also ask and see and kind of try to analyze whether this question is something you need to cover in the same page, or if there is a different page that with a little bit different intent, different structure of that page. So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot to think about when you do keyword research. And as far as I'm concerned, I think it has gotten much, much more challenging. If previously you would just, I don't know, export whatever you found in SEMrush and give it back to your writer and say, hey, just create content to that for those pages. There are search intent, commercial, navigational, transactional. That's it. That's all we had to deal with. And now it's all about finding related searches, finding trusted sources for every keyword. So there are a lot of pieces to that. And when I do editorial calendar for any of our clients, I always take all those things into account and create a huge spreadsheet with, hey, this is the main keyword. These are all the keywords that are closely related and should be on the same page. Here are all the questions that should be covered. And here are other things that we need to think about if there is an image pack or videos ranking for that keyword. We probably need to create that asset as well to go with our article and accomplish something and give more information to people looking for this. So there's definitely not an easy process. I'm with you on that.
And it's layers upon layers,
Yeah.
investigating the competitors, investigating yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I like using the
Exactly.
people also ask and the other section at the bottom of the Google search results, and I kind of like because I do like write a lot of page copy too, with a lot of keyword rich page copy, and like sometimes I'll use those questions as like the headers for news sections to answer the keywords with like I'm trying to make it seem natural, but I'll also answer the questions. And I actually find it really fun because it's kind of like psychology a little bit to figure out what people want to know about the topic. I'll also ask myself what I want to know about the topic. So
You are your own best resource.
yeah, that's right. And I actually had a question. Well, I think you kind of addressed it. Like Google has been getting better at understanding user intent and context, and I feel like it knows like what I'm asking based on stuff I've searched before or like my internet activity. Like, is that possible? Like Google can see all that stuff?
Absolutely. And any user can disable Google from doing that, but I don't think many people realize that or do that. So we get the majority of personalization Google is applying to most of its users for sure. They do look into your previous searches, especially your previous searches in the same session.
Right.
I did a few experiments with that. For example, if you search for something like how many calories are in cheesecake, and your next query would be best recipe for tonight, Google will actually serve you cheesecake recipes because you just searched for that within the same
You're
session.
craving.
Yes, it can be different if you go to another browser or even close that tab and search again in a different tab in the same browser. That would impact that, but immediate searches definitely inform Google as to what you're looking for. But it's not just that. We know, and from their documentation that is going public these days, we know that they do use click data, and they save it for about 16 months or 13 months. I
Oh,
forgot
wow.
exactly how long, but they collect that and they adjust their algorithm based on that. So it's not as straightforward. So it's not applied to a certain URL. For example, if your search snippet is not clicked that much, it's not against you. Google does not apply any penalties to that, to your URL, but they adjust their algorithm for that query to try and give surface something that people really search for. If you search for, and that was in my newsletter, like if you search for Harry Potter house, Google thinks it's about the Hogwarts, all the Hogwarts houses there. So it's not just Harry Potter. They know Harry Potter is more like an entity that applies to the whole book, not to the character inside that book. And they do not do that because they of semantic analysis, which also a part of that, I feel like, but it's mostly about what most of their users mean when they search for something like that, and that's the part of the puzzle, that the piece of the puzzle that we do not have and will never have, because it's not possible to get that insight from Google for every search query, what exactly they know about it. So the only way to get a little bit insight into that is to actually search for that. And searching for every search query that you are trying to include into your SEO strategy is very time consuming. But at this point, we cannot get away from that, because we need to know what Google thinks about query and how they actually analyze it and what they have found from months and years of people searching for that.
We're talking an awful lot about Google. They're the main player. They're the biggest player out there. But and their algorithm has been changing a lot, and it will always continue to change and to grow. In my opinion, right now the search results are not favoring some of the better sites, but the pendulum will swing back and forth. But right now we have other players in the game. We have ChatGPT, and as you've mentioned before in our conversations, owned largely by Microsoft, and Microsoft has now become a major player again. Do they follow Google's trends, and do they follow Google's algorithms, or should we be taking that into bigger consideration, not just on the AI side, but as how do we appeal to other?
I think with the keyword research process, people type the same things in every search box they come across. So your insights into what people search in Google can totally be transferred to any other search engine that we have to deal with. It's the same people solving the same problems. Maybe extending it a little bit. And I have been writing about for many years how question research is crucial, because now you know not just keywords, which can be interpreted in different ways. Questions are much more straightforward, and we know exactly it's more conversational, what people are likely to ask AI, more than just query. So question research is definitely getting more important with AI, with optimizing for AI platforms, or even for including ChatGPT. So that part definitely will transfer to any search engine or AI platform. We need to know keywords, because that gives us an insight into popular things that people are trying to ask or solve. The higher search volume, the more people search that question or query in Google, there is more demand for that. And their chances are very high that they will do the same. They will ask the same questions any search engines they come across or any AI platform they come across. So definitely keyword research will be important, that first part when we need to know what is being searched. Now for the how they work, definitely they will be different. I don't think that ChatGPT will at any time include feedback from people. I don't think many people do give them feedback or understand there are so many ways to do that, but I think it will take them some time. So the only platform that can give us insight into really what people need is Google.
I have another question. If what would you say is like more important or powerful for rankings, like EEAT or keyword optimization? Like, do you think a page could still rank without any keywords if it's like really helpful, or like checks those EEAT boxes?
Yeah, I think there is no one answer to that because it's all about the balance. Some pages are missing EAT signals. Some pages are missing backlink profile signals or trusted link signals. Some people are missing keywords from their pages, but they do answer the query in a different way. So the ideal scenario is to have all those pieces together, then you have the highest chance to rank for something. But sometimes Google would balance that. For example, they may find that this content is helpful, but it does not have trusted backlinks, but it will still choose to try and surface it to its searches so that they can evaluate is if that's definitely helpful or useful. Another great thing to remind people here is that click data is important, but Google only has click data for search results that are clicked, for the top ones. So that's a very limited chance of limited part of data. They don't have click data for all their index, only higher ranking pages, and that's why they're trying to surface more URLs that lack signals, but they want that click data for those as well to better understand what people engage with, interact with, what they find useful. So anytime you see something ranking that's not supposed to rank based on any signals that we can gather from SEO tools, but it ranks very, very well, that may be part of that helpful content algorithm where try surfacing pages and getting click data for those, even though they don't have all the necessary signals that would work for them to rank. So it's there is no way there's no way to tell, hey, I don't know, EAT is the only thing you need. Then you will
Yeah,
rank,
yeah,
regardless
yeah,
of keywords, regardless of
yeah,
anything else. So it's a huge puzzle with so many
yeah.
pieces. And our job as an SEO agency is to ensure that our clients have most of their pieces together and they have all of that in good shape.
You want to be able to see the picture.
Yes. So their chances to rank are the highest.
Hmm.
In my where I was leading earlier with the different products is that when people are asking AI different questions, they are asking questions. Do you think that they're going to be bringing that method of query to the search engines? Do you think they're going to start asking longer tail? In your example in your blog, you had a 3-word query, Harry Potter house, which, by the way, I swear I'm a Hufflepuff and I work with a bunch of Ravenclaws. But that's a but you usually have you used a short tail phrase in an AI search, but most people I think are using conversational questions. Do you think they're going to translate that, go into a Google search or into a Bing or Edge search and type in longer tails and get in the habit of using a longer phrase? In which case, does that change your optimization now that you understand the search intent a little bit differently?
Well, the thing is, we have been optimizing for conversational search for a few years now, ever since people started talking to their phones instead of typing queries. We have been dealing with questions, long tail queries, and those queries that even Google doesn't know of because people just talk to the phone and it searches. So it has been part of SEO strategy from that time, and I don't think it is going to change. It is going to be very important. The longer the query, the easier it is to interpret search intent and to give people exactly what they need. The tough part here is, again, we don't know third of those search queries. I did a test with Ahrefs and SEMrush, looking at my actual keywords and my actual Google traffic, and then using those tools to evaluate what they know about my traffic. And it's always missing 1/3 of search data for every site that I checked. So we don't know those queries, and whether we are going to know them, I don't know. So we will still have to optimize for what we know. And those are probably shorter tail queries, not just because those tools do not capture long conversational queries because they're new to them, they're new to Google. We don't know exactly what people are searching. So there is a missing piece in that regard, that we don't have that data. But definitely trying to converse through your content and optimize for questions, at least for those that we know, has been an important part of SEO strategy.
Ever since the introduction of voice searches. So it's been around for a while.
Voice search was kind of the big incentive for that. It's not like we were neglecting long tail queries before that, but with voice search, it was obvious that if we want to be found, we need to know how people talk to their devices. And I know ChatGPT has a mobile version as well where you can converse with it as well. So it's pretty much the same thing, it's just a different platform.
We have a question in our chat asking about title tags and the structuring of title tags for pages, mainly with the use of the pipe symbol to break the tag up. Do you have any recommendations on the title tag structure for the pages?
I'm not very good at that, to be honest. There is a fine balance between making it optimized and making it clickable. So for me, it's always either too boring or not optimized for search engines. So the only thing is, Google still thinks title tags are the biggest part, the most important thing on the web page, and they confirm that in many documents in there. How Google uses keywords documentation as well. They do look at keywords in the title tag. So my recommendation is always start with your keyword. It should be the first part of your title. If that's possible, just do it, because for many reasons. First of all, that's how Google will know that what the page is about, what your focus is, and it will also be right there in search results for Google, for people to see exactly what they're searching. So that could also help with click-through. So I always do that. I feel like it's an old school strategy to do that, but that's something I have not changed throughout the years. I always start the title tag with the main keyword and then try to add something engaging, maybe a question or top 10 list or something like that. But the first part is always the keyword.
With regard to the structure, though, do you keep it separated by the pipe symbol? Is that going away? Is that also old school? Or is the hyphen replacing it? Or
it could be anything at this point. There are no strict rules there. Usually I do colon or the hyphen or something like that. Or maybe it could be the beginning of the whole sentence. If I'm optimizing for questions, that could be my whole title. So I don't have strict rules there, but if you have the question behind the query, it's always a great idea to just make it the title tag. It will not exactly be starting with your keyword because there will be a question word, but there are ways around that. You can start with the keyword and then do colon and add the question. But they are clicked very well. Questions are very engaging for people because as soon as we see the question, we want to find the answer. So we click that search result. So it's a fine balance between making it search optimized and interesting enough to get a click.
go into ChatGPT with your title tag and say, put my keyword first.
It's not, I'm not happy with 80% of title tags it suggests, but it definitely gives an idea of what can be included. So I would edit what it suggests and then optimize it a little bit, and that's my title. But I do feel like, yeah, I never end up with my initial title tag variation, so I always have second thoughts. I always edit it, so I don't have the perfect formula for that. I think we are ready to wrap up, unless there are any questions in the um, on LinkedIn, which I'm not really looking at. No other questions?
There may
No
be,
more.
but I don't have them in front of myself. I believe that was the last one. Thank you very much, Anne, for answering.
We'll answer any questions in writing if there are any more. Thank you so much for coming to our quick live LinkedIn show. There will be tomorrow, we'll discuss search intent on X Spaces. That is Twitter, if you don't know, because I always forget that it is X. So tomorrow at noon, it's February 15. Please come to our X Spaces show as well. If you want to grab a mic and talk to us, not in typing, but just talking, we will add you. So it's a cool way to interact as well. Tomorrow at noon, please visit us at X Spaces as Twitter SEO Smori, X SEO Smori, and do subscribe to my newsletter on LinkedIn. I would love to see you next week as well. It's Wednesdays, always at 1 p.m. on LinkedIn. We will have show every week on discussing different SEO and AI topics. So I hope you will join us next week. Bye.